Alright everybody, something a little bit different today. We're going to be on the main camera today. We're going to be going through some Partwork magazines. I'm starting a series of these because I'm starting this channel in the middle of a bunch of my subscriptions. So I want to go back through and showcase what's in these Partwork magazines for you. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with Build the Back to the Future DeLorean. This is available through FanHome now, and I will put a link to the FanHome website in the video description. I did this with the previous company. It's the only build I've done with the previous company. With the previous company, you got a binder like this. I believe FanHome is doing something a little bit different. They're doing a slipcase. The binders for the DeLorean from the previous company all hold 16 of the magazines in them. I believe the slipcases now hold 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these binder by binder because my Back to the Future DeLorean build is complete, and I do have a showcase for that, and I will go ahead and I will put a link to that in this video as well, so you can watch the showcase of my completed DeLorean time machine, as well as its showcase in the Florida Museum of Transportation. So let's go ahead and get going, and let's see what's in these magazines. Alrighty, this is binder number 1. So we're gonna start way back at the beginning of the build. As you can see, it's an officially licensed Universal Studios product, originally released in 2017. Here we have issue 1, stage 1 for the magazine, Back to the Future DeLorean, build the iconic 80s time machine in 1/8 scale. So in each one of these magazines, you get a table of contents. It was showing you what all is in the magazines. This is all the publication information from the previous company. Starts out with your car parts. So in issue 1, we got the parts for the rear bumper, the DeLorean label, the headlight assembly, the lower bumper part license plate, and the frame for the lights, plus plate holders and screws. And I'll flip through a little bit about the license plate. Really cool putting the lights together. I really enjoy going back through and looking through these magazines because there's a lot of things in here that as I go through, I'm sure I'll have realized that I have forgotten what I did as part of the build-up. The iconic out-of-time license plate. And this is the end of stage 1. The Futurist. This is all about writing the script. Talking to Bob Gale about how the story of Back to the Future came to be. Time Trials. Some of the designing of the DeLorean time machine. The artwork in these magazines is really nice. I really enjoyed reading these and having them accompany the build. I really enjoy all my Partwork build-up models, but the ones that come with a complimentary, an accompanying magazine are just extra special. I think they have an extra collector value to them. About behind the scenes, especially if you're like me, most of the Partworks that I have done are pop culture icons. They definitely have a pop culture hook to them. The Time Traveler's Guide, each one of these magazines does come with these Time Traveler guides. So in issue 1, it's Michael J. Fox, some quick facts. And issue 2, we have the front wing and the rest of the lights. Here's issue 2. That wing there. And finish the rear bumper assembly. back to the first draft. This is all about the first draft of the script and how the story came to be. A little bit more about the time machine. No time on the license plate instead of out of time. Well, lots of stuff here. Issue 2, the Time Traveler Guide, is the clock tower. Very, very pivotal locale in the franchise. All three films, the clock tower plays a really, really big role in everything. Issue 3 is the wheel. You'll notice that all of the covers are different. I think I counted 15, or maybe it's 20. It's 20 different cover designs on this one. Some of our other partwork buildups have the same cover for each magazine, but the DeLorean had a different view of the car in each one, which I really enjoyed as long as you were building along, being able to see what your finished product is going to look like. Here's that first wheel. I'll start flipping through these a little quicker now that we're into it a little bit. You can see the time machine coming together into its final form, twin vents. Casting Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, and of course Eric Stoltz was the original actor set to play Marty. I think we're all glad that they eventually decided to go with Michael J. Fox. Doc Brown and the Time Traveler's Guide, and Mr. Fusion Reactor. Oh, look at that. The back of the car. So this is stage 4. All the parts for Mr. Fusion and the reactor plate. This is the only issue up until I think it's 41 or 42 that has the time machine components. From here on up until then, you're basically just building a stock DeLorean time machine otherwise. Mr. Fusion coming together. I remember these being quite a difficult stage, especially with these springs in here. I think I eventually left my springs out. Love this picture. It's my favorite version of the car with the Mr. Fusion and the barcode license plate, the Part 2 version. I love that version of this car. Casting Doc. Einstein. Issue 4, Time Traveler's Guide is Einstein. Issue 5, the front suspension. All those parts in here. How the front suspension went together. We're here with Lorraine, slicing through time, what time travel might look like. And George McFly, so both of Marty's parents are in this stage. I really like too on these Back to the Future DeLorean ones that all of your part inventory is on the back. I think with Fan Home, this might not actually be contained on the back. On some of the Ghostbusters ones and for Fan Home, it's just a blank page back here. And this is a complete mirror of stage 5. Looking exactly the same. Biff Tannen. Found Biff Tannen. Filming locations. There's so much editorial work in these. The Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Definitely an important part to the trilogy. And yeah, parts for the steering rack in this one. This is an easy stage to put together. Mr. Strickland, no slacking. More about what time travel might look like. Michael J. Fox. What Michael J. Fox did early in his career before his starring role as Marty McFly. These magazines are full of these full-page pictures, which I really enjoy. Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf. George McFly is issue 7's Time Traveler's Guide. On to issue 8. You have the stabilizer bar and more of the chassis. Jennifer. Still going through characters. Driving the time machine. All the ice on it. Love that. Becoming Marty. More about Michael J. Fox. Family Ties. Leah Thompson. And we have our next wheel in issue 9, which is right here. Production diary. So this is about starting to shoot Back to the Future. One of the subtleties in this magazine that I absolutely love is that any of the pictures having to do with Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly, all of these pictures are in black and white. There are no color pictures of Eric Stoltz. When it changes over to Marty, which you'll see in a couple issues, they're all in color. There's another one of those full page ones. Christopher Lloyd, Before Doc. Star Trek 3. Brainwave Analyzer. Do you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work at all. And we got our first big piece of the car in the next issue, which was the main frame. A large piece. Issue 10. We put the suspension components and basically everything that we worked on after from stage 3 onwards, except for the Mr. Fusion and the reactor top, was used in this stage, which was really, really cool. More Eric Stoltz production diaries. Black and white. Biff's Henchman. A riffraff. The time travel model from 1955. Here the engine support. Stage 12. More production diaries. Looks like they filmed part of the last scene at the clock tower with Eric Stoltz. Some of the design of the inside of the time machine. Biff Tannen. In issue 12. Rear suspension. I remember this issue and its partner, which I believe is stage 14, which is the other side, were really difficult. This was before I knew to use oil on metal parts and to make things easier. But it was quite tough. All of these screws fit really tight in here. More about the production. Christopher Lloyd and Eric Stoltz. A little bit about Eric Stoltz and what he did after Back to the Future. Skateboard. That's pretty important, isn't it? Stage 13 was the first rear wheel. They were bigger than the front ones, but still constructed in the same process. And here we go. See all color pictures. Marty McFly is played by Michael J. Fox. This one's really cool, even though it's still black and white. A little bit about the restoration. If you didn't know, the original A car of the DeLorean time machine was sitting outside on the Universal backlot for a long time, and was put into severe disrepair, but it was rescued by Joe Walser, Terry Matalas, and Bob Gale, and a team of really talented people. It's now in the Peterson Automotive Museum in LA. I have seen this car. I saw it when they displayed the restored version at Universal Studios Hollywood. It was really cool to see it all put back together and pretty. Lou's Cafe. And here we have that other side suspension. Costume design. Johnny B. Good, isn't that iconic? Johnny B. Good right there. And the last wheel went on in issue 15. And we had a rolling chassis for our DeLorean time machine. Super cool. More of the production diaries. God, he looks tired. A bit about the DeLorean DMC-12, which is the star car of the franchise. Character in itself. Match made in space. Idea for George McFly's book. And we started the engine in stage 16. We'll flip to that. This is the manual gearbox. Some people got an automatic one, not a manual. The one in mine is a manual. And I think the ones that Fan Home are doing is a manual now too. It's more about the DeLorean. John DeLorean. Crispin Glover is the Time Traveler's Guide. And that's issue 16, which rounds out our first binder. Stay tuned for binder number 2, coming soon. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll continue our walk down memory lane next time with some more of the publication material for the Back to the Future DeLorean time machine partwork build-up model. We'll see you next time.